Goodbye, everyone. Hello?
In the wrong direction on one-way street. They'll probably get 20.
Yeah, I was just about to drink some Clorox because Dricus du Plessis lost to Khamzat Chimaev.
Gotcha. Parking next to a fire hydrant in no parking zone.
How can it get better? Khamzat is a champion.
In the wrong direction on one-way street. They'll probably get 20 years for this. Sorry, dude, I saw it first. It's over on detective.
You're right. We will win the rematch, I know.
Zone. In the wrong direction on one-way street. They'll probably get 20 years for this.
I guess I gotta review the whole card now. Thank you, Dricus. Come on. Hashtag thank you, Dricus in the comments right now. But UFC 319 took place. DDP lost, of course. But there were actually other fights on this card. It wasn't just a main event. So we're going to get into the entire card. I don't know what else to say. Like and sub before we get into it. Let's go. So I guess we'll start with the main event. Let's just get it over with, all right? I've already done a separate reaction to this. And, of course, I've given it a few hours. I've given it a sleep. And I still feel the same way. Khamzat Chimaev beat DDP. I'm still sad. You know, I'm not on the verge of drinking Clorox or jumping off a bridge or tying a freaking rope around my neck. But, you know, I'm still very sad about it. But DDP lost to Khamzat Chimaev, a pretty dominant performance. I stand by that. I don't think it was a super great performance. I don't care. You can spam paragraphs in my comments. It was not a super impressive performance. Was it good? Was it impressive? Yes. But was it the best performance of the year? No. With that being said, though, you have to give Khamzat Chimaev props. Of course, I'm not going to sit here and just diminish it just because I am a DDP fan, of course. I have to just be unbiased. I'm a Khamzat fan, by the way, as well. Like, it's like people, you can be fans of multiple fighters. But, of course, you know, Khamzat Chimaev, he did his thing. He dominated DDP for 5 full rounds. The first round, it was just right away, gets the takedown. And DDP, you know, I wasn't that worried because it was only the first round. And, you know, the second round, I said the same thing. You know, the second round, I mean, it's only the second round. Then the third round comes, and the fourth, and we can actually look at the stats, you know. So the stats are here. It's going to zoom down. Total strikes. So Khamzat Chimaev, 529 total strikes. Now, a lot of people, they're going to glaze that. Oh, my God. 529 total strikes to 45. As if, like, why the fuck does the total strikes? They also count those shitty little squeaky pity-pat shots that Khamzat was landing on DDP. That's what they count that as total strikes, by the way. So it is what it is, though. Of course, takedown-wise, DDP had 1 takedown. It must have been in the 5th, I guess. And it must have been, like, for a second, because I don't remember it, like, being a prolonged thing. So it must have been in the 5th, and it must have not been for super long. But DDP, I guess, did get a takedown. Khamzat, of course, got 12 takedowns. And 0 sub-attempts. Again, DDP is the only one that had the real sub-attempt. The only one that had a real close sub-attempt, you know? And that was in round 5. So, again, such a dominant performance. I'm not going to rage about it. I'm over it. Khamzat won. Congratulations. But at the end of the day, oh my God, a dominant performance. He had 0 sub-attempts. But the total strikes. Oh, you mean those little pity-pat shots? Nonetheless, though, good performance from Khamzat. 37 significant strikes. Of course, he didn't rock DDP one time, you know, because we don't get rocked. And DDP actually had 13, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this was one of those where Khamzat just dominated. I didn't think it would be this dominant. I mean, of course, I didn't even think he would win. I thought DDP was going to win. You guys know that. But I obviously was well aware that Khamzat Chimaev could win. And I said that first or second round is going to be where the magic happens for Khamzat and for Khamzat fans. But it didn't happen like that. You know, once you got past the second round, you got into the third. He did the same thing he did in rounds 1 and 2. Same thing in round 4. And of course, you know, I was kind of joking in my, you know, immediate reaction video, and I said Khamzat was on EPO. Do I think he's on EPO? No. He did exert a lot of energy. He didn't exert as much energy as I feel like he usually does, though. He did exert a lot of energy, but not as much as he usually does, to where, and this is why I said it wasn't that great of a performance. Was he really, really trying to go for the finish? I mean, let's be honest. You know, he had the crucifix in, but, like, was he really posturing up and landing nasty elbows? You know, people compare this like Khabib performances. Khabib always got his opponents out of there. That's the one thing you can say. Khabib would get those guys out of there within 2 rounds, 3 rounds. He would beat them up a lot more. He'd posture up. Khamzat really wasn't, I don't think this was anything like Khabib's best performances at all. If this was a Khabib performance, this was like what? Khabib's weaker performances, like the one against like Ali Aquinza. That's what I would compare this to. Or fucking like Edson Barboza. You know, it's just, nonetheless, so I just feel like, you know, it was a good performance. Khamzat did his thing. I'm surprised by it, of course. Again, I did pick Dricus du Plessis. I thought that he would have a bit of a better showing. And of course, you know, though I thought this fight wasn't the best, it does take 2 to tango. But at the same time, it's not like when DDP wasn't on the feet. And you got to respect DDP as well. In that 5th round, he really tried to go for the finish. As soon as the round starts, he's trudging forward, throwing high kicks, throwing right hands. Khamzat gets him down. He reverses the takedown, gets his own, I believe. Goes for the subs. You know, and what's funny, and I didn't mention this in, what the fuck? I didn't mention this in my initial reaction, but it's funny that like the Khamzat fans that were in attendance for the press conference were going nuts for Khamzat. When he came out, they were going nuts for Khamzat. But then they were cheering for DDP in round 5. You know why they were cheering for DDP in round 5? Because Khamzat Chimaev stunk up the place. Like Anshu Jabli stinks it up all the time. I'm sorry. But I'm just coping, and it is what it is. Great performance from Khamzat. Good performance from Khamzat. Let me correct myself. Good performance. You want to see a great performance? Watch Sean Brady versus Leon Edwards. Watch Anthony Hernandez, Roman Dolidze. But, you know, he did his thing. He won the belt. We'll see him next year. Oh, he says he's going to be back in October. My ass. Yeah. And I'm going to freaking bring Anne Hathaway on stream on my lap. No, these things are never happening, right? So, you know, it was, you know, it was what it was. I don't really know what else to say. Khamzat's an EPO, and we'll see in 5 years when he tests positive for EPO. So, I'm kidding. But, you know, there's nothing much else I can say. Everyone has already said everything there is to say. I've already said everything there is to say. Khamzat did his thing for 5 rounds, except for the 5th round where he almost got bitched. He did get bitched, actually, and he almost got tapped out and knocked out. Co-main event, Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico Graham. You know, so I picked Aaron Pico, of course. I guess in hindsight, it's a bad pick. Everyone on the planet has bad picks, so I don't care. But Lerone Murphy beat Aaron Pico Graham with a spinning elbow in the first round. See, it's funny, you know, people will say, no way you picked Aaron Pico. Oh, so you're telling me that you predicted that Lerone Murphy would get a spinning elbow on Aaron Pico? Yeah, you guys all predicted that, right? Like, everyone predicted Lerone Murphy to get a spinning elbow, right? Nonetheless, Aaron Pico lost. He was actually doing his thing with the boxing. Like, he really was kind of piecing up Lerone Murphy. Even Lerone Murphy said it, like, that was the toughest first few minutes of his life, he said. Like, he legitimately was getting pieced up. I think he was close to getting finished as well. Aaron Pico was really going forward. It was a beautiful sight to see, you know. And not because I picked Aaron Pico. I don't really have much of a dog in who wins this, but... And Aaron Pico looks like, what's his name? Pedro Pascal, by the way. Unfortunately, we only see Aaron Pico get slapped like that. Not actually, let me not say that because I don't know, I might get in some legal trouble. So, anyways, Lerone Murphy, yeah, he was getting pieced up a little bit, and Aaron Pico, like, he kind of slows down. They kind of separate at some point, and he kind of like, I don't know, he waddles in for some weird shot. I don't know what he was doing, but he almost like waddles in, and then Lerone Murphy's timing was perfect. He just spinning elbow, knocks him out cold, legitimately. Just out cold, like not even like, oh, you know, TK out, flatline KO. So Aaron Pico, like, the thing is, and I think, you know, someone said this in my chat, I think it was Dig, like, I said Dig, not the N-word. It sounds like I'm saying, anyways, he said that, like, Lerone Murphy, no one on the planet is eating that elbow, and I agree. I actually do agree with that. But on the flip side, it's just such a bad look for Aaron Pico that he just keeps getting slept all the time. And it's funny because of most of the Bellator guys that have come over recently, like Patchy Mix and Patricio Pitbull, that was the best any of them has ever looked. Aaron Pico in that first round before he got slept, that was the best any of these outsiders looked. He looked better than freaking Kai Asakura. But at the end of the day, he got slept with a spinning elbow. Lerone Murphy is probably going to get the title shot. The UFC, it seems like they're really pushing for it. I could sit here and cry and be mad about Evloev getting passed over, but I just don't care. He's a pedophile, and his fans are annoying, and he's ugly, and he's a pedo, so I don't really care. He can get, and he's a boring fighter, so I don't even give a fuck. Fuck him. Lerone Murphy should get the title shot over him. Hey, Movsar Evloev, you have so many wins. Try to get a highlight like that. I can shit on Lerone Murphy, and I always have, and I always probably still will, because he might face my GOAT Volkanovski next. But he got a crazy highlight KO spinning elbow. If Evloev fought Aaron Pico, what would he have done? A split decision for 5 rounds against Aaron Pico is what would have happened, let's be honest. So, credit to Lerone Murphy. It's a great win. He low-key should get the title shot next, because fuck Evloev. Geoff Neal versus Carlos Prates. Insane KO. Legitimately a KO of the year contender. And it was from another fighting nerd. Isn't that insane? Like, I don't know what the fuck was that. I don't know what these guys are made of, but these fighting nerds are just absolute machines. So Geoff Neal, he was doing his thing. He was actually doing all right earlier in this fight, earlier in the round. He was kind of, trudging forward. He was kind of doing Geoff Neal things, but he was landing some decent shots on Prates, and I thought he did a pretty good job of closing the distance, but Prates was just staying in. He was constantly throwing. I think he landed some nice low kicks. And I did pick Carlos Prates to get a first round TKO, not a KO. I didn't think he'd flatline KO him the way he did. And Prates, with 1 second to go in the round, I want to say, it was a spinning elbow. Just clean on Geoff Neal's head. Knocks him out with 1 second to go. Insane. The other guy that had the KO of the year was Mauricio Rufy, who is another fighting nerd. It's bananas. So, Carlos Prates spinning back elbow. Why couldn't he do this to Ian Gary? Why? Why did Geoff Neal? This guy seems like a good guy. He's a fun fighter. He's an unk. He's a legend and OG. Why did Geoff Neal have to get slimed out and not Ian Gary? Why? Ian Gary gets to walk around, be a cuck, watch his wife get fucked in front of it. It's unfair, man, the way that this sport works sometimes. I don't care about Aaron Pico getting slept but Prates, but Geoff Neal getting slept instead of Ian Gary is just, oh my. I just had to say that because that was my actual live reaction was why couldn't this be Ian Gary? Why couldn't Ian Gary get slimed out in the first round the same way? We can't get anything good in this sport, but it is what it is. Carlos Prates, insane KO. He says he wants to fight fucking MVP, who we're about to get to right now. We need that fight next. So, speaking of MVP, he beat Gerald Cannonier. I kind of don't want to hear people complain about MVP anymore because this was probably my favorite MVP performance. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The Holland one was really good, but I don't know, something about this performance. I think the fact that he dropped Cannonier twice, he was emoting on him. He just, I don't know, the way MVP was. Cannonier couldn't land one shot on him, barely could land anything on Michael Venom Page. He was slipping all the shots. He was incredible in this fight. Incredible, bro. And it's I know people are going to say he's boring and he's just a point fighter. I get that, but he truly does. His power must be really, really tough. He must have really good power because these guys really don't want to engage after. You saw Cannonier, he did slow down. He didn't want to fully engage, and he wasn't really trying to take Michael Venom Page's head off because he respected the power. It's not just about, why don't these guys just try to do this and this and this? Well, you ever consider that maybe MVP has really good power? Because he does. He dropped Gerald Cannonier twice. The second one was a bit of a push. The first one, I thought he clearly dropped him. Just, I don't know, man. Michael Venom Page, this guy's awesome. I can't glaze him enough. His style is it's weird, and it's a bit, it's not, to be honest, it's not that weird of a style. I think on commentary, they were kind of saying it was weird. I think it was DC that was saying it, which a shout out to JDM. He said that JDM roasted DC. He said there should be an option for you to be able to turn off DC's commentary or something. So I don't know what his beef is with Daniel Cormier, but that was pretty funny. But Michael Venom Page, he was phenomenal in this fight. I don't think his style is that weird either, is what I was going to get at. Because he does just have a point fighting style, but the hands down thing, it allows him to just some guys, they have that sort of style where they almost see punches with their hands, and they use their hands as their eyes. I don't know. I heard a boxing coach say that one time. And I think Michael Venom Page has that style, that point fighting style. He's always bouncing so that he's always bouncing in and out so that he can explode with something, then come out and then explode. It's just in and out. It's just Michael Venom Page. He looks like a snake. He fights like a snake. He slithers in and out. He's slippery, slimy. I love this guy, man. And, Jared Cannonier, he tried to get some takedowns off. I expected it, but I didn't really think he'd have much success with it, and he really didn't, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not surprised by that. Yeah, it wasn't close. It was a 2-1 decision for Michael Venom Page, I believe is what the judges had it, and Cannonier probably thought he won. I think he had his hand up like he thought he won, but little bro, you did not win this fight. I have to burp. I can't burp. Michael Venom Page, crazy performance. That was a good performance. See, then people are saying, you're glazing MVP's performance, but not Khamzat's? Sorry that I prefer strikers who get knockdowns and emote rather than Khamzat's. Anyways, Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. What the fuck? What the fuck? Tim Elliott. He beat Kai Asakura in the second round, I believe, with a, I want to say it was a guillotine, right? It was a guillotine, yes. He was, fully mounted on Kai Asakura and just... Kai Asakura tapped. He didn't even go to sleep, which is all right. I'm not going to... He's a fighter. I'm not going to say, oh, brother, you go to sleep. You don't tap, brother. You go to sleep. But, yeah, Tim Elliott. I just don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. In 2025, Tim Elliott beat Kai Asakura. Can I just say this? I'm sorry, Pantoja. And I did a video on this. I'm going to always plug this video because I do think it will age very, very well. I take pride in that. I said the new era of UFC fighters is overrated, right? Because there's been a lot of talk of the new era is here, the new era. And people will say, Demetrius Johnson, who did he really beat? Demetrius Johnson, one of his best wins is Tim Elliott. Well, guess what? One of DJ's best wins just beat one of Pantoja's best wins. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. A wash version of one of TJ's best wins beat the prime version of one of Pantoja's best wins. I know that's a little bit of MMA math, but you get my point. So this whole, the new era is here. And this is another guy that's outside of the promotion. He came from Ryzen. He came into the UFC, and he just has zero grappling. And I know Tim Elliott is good. He's really solid. He's a tricky customer. He's a crafty vet. I get that. But in 2025, you should be able to beat a guy like Tim Elliott. Because that tells me you're just completely not high level. Imagine what Taylor would do to Kai Asakura, Tatsuro Taira, or any other grappler that's... Mokaev would sub this guy, and I don't even like Mokaev. Fucking Brandon Moreno would sub Kai Asakura at this point. He's just not... He's just... I don't know. You get subbed like that by Tim Elliott, he's just not good. He looked all right before the takedown and before the submission, and he is still very fast, and he's still, he's a fast fighter, and Tim Elliott is really shit on the feet. I'm not going to lie, but his grappling is very good. I just didn't think it was this good. And he subbed Kai Asakura, so it's a combination of Tim Elliott being underestimated and Kai Asakura just being overrated. Yeah, that's about it. Kai Asakura, go back to Ryzen, little bro. This guy, Basanger Sakarayev versus Eric. No, I hate saying this guy's name. Sakarayev versus Eric Nolan. So Eric Nolan, we were all rooting for Eric Nolan. Everyone in my chat was rooting for Eric Nolan. But Sakarayev won. He almost got knocked out in the first. I would have been so fired to see this fraud freaking... Nonetheless, I don't want to hate on him. He actually had a good performance where he got a finish, unlike Khamzat Chimaev in the main event. And he's the training partner, by the way. But nonetheless, Sakarayev, he legit almost got KO'd in the first round. But, in the second round, he kind of rallies back. He gets the sub. He kind of Paddy Pimblett maxes, and he's doing that, the thing where he's, posturing up and landing that sort of ground and pound on the back of Eric Nolan. And, yeah, Eric Nolan just didn't really... Look, it was up a weight class for him. It was on a week's notice. He has a couple of really good highlights. Honestly, I didn't know too much about Eric Nolan, but they showed a video package, and he had, some crazy flatline KOs. I was like, holy shit, Eric Nolan is good. And he showed in this fight he is good. So I think they should keep him. Please, don't cut this guy. I don't know if he's already signed, but keep Eric Nolan because he almost stopped this Sakarayev guy. He almost finished him. This was the main event of the prelims, by the way. So obviously they really see something in this Sakuraev guy. They put him on the press conference. So, and Eric Nolan almost got him out of there. So you got to respect that. But yeah, this was a good performance. The second round was a good performance from Sakuraev. It was a good win, I should say. I don't know. These Khamzat Chimaev-esque guys kind of just suck. Fuck them. Anyways, I'm kidding. It was good. It was good from Sakuraev. Eric Nolan almost won, but he didn't. I think he hurt his leg in round 2 as well. I think he like tore his quad or some shit. He was like holding his leg. And Sakuraev, that's when he took advantage. So, yeah, you know, it was a good win for him. But hopefully he gets fraud checked. GM3 versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. Speaking of fraud checks, my GOAT GM3 got KO'd. This right here almost made me want to drink the Clorox, but you know, GM3 got KO'd in the first, like I predicted. I said Michal Oleksiejczuk would KO him, and he did. And it was one of those where I kind of thought it was one of those where, like I said, you know, I could see a world where GM3 does survive the first, but Michal Oleksiejczuk, he's with the Fighting Nerds now. He looked in really good shape this fight as well, to be honest. And he's only really lost to good guys, Michal Oleksiejczuk, so I thought he had a really good chance of winning this one. Not saying GM3 is not good, but it's a little bit. My GOAT is a little bit past his prime, sadly. So, yeah, Oleksiejczuk just KO'd him with a nasty combination, and Gerald Meerschaert unfortunately went out. Yeah, I almost wanted to end myself, but you know, I had to stay up for DDP just to see that happen to DDP. I'll never let that go. But great performance, great win for Michal Oleksiejczuk. Also, I don't know if I forgot to mention, but I did pick Sakuraev and Kai Asakura and Michael Page, by the way. I thought those were obvious, though, because, you know, I thought those are the most obvious picks of the whole card. But nonetheless, let's get to this fight. Jessica Andrade versus Lupita Godinez. Lupita. So, yeah, Lupita Godinez robbed my GOAT, Jessica Andrade. This was not goonable, honestly. No, all jokes aside, this actually was a really, really fun fight. Like, this was actually a fun fight. This was a fun scrap. Jessica Andrade, I'm not going to disrespect her, bro. Like, I know we shit on WMMA, and, you know, one of my favorite fighters is Zhang Wei Li, and I think she's kind of the exception to the rule. No offense, but WMMA is majorly shit. It is. But Jessica Andrade is another exception to that rule because she just goes out there and she's no joke, but she's a marauder. Like, if there was going to be a female BMF belt, a women's BMF belt, she should be the champion. She really tried to get the finish. I did pick her to win, by the way, and I kind of thought she got robbed. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. And Loopy looked good, though. Loopy actually looked improved to me on the feet. It got a little bit shaky for her at times where she was getting pieced up, and there were some points I thought she was going to get finished, but she is tough. You know, she's got that Mexican chin. She has a good jab as well. She has a really good jab, so she's very tough. She did her thing. I think at one point she did get some wrestling off. But Jessica Andrade, you know, she was a dog in this fight. Both women were dogs. This is a fun fight. If you want to watch a fun fight, don't watch the main event where Khamzat laid on top of his opponent for 30 minutes. Watch this fight. I'm going to always be angry about that main event. Chase the Gooner versus Alexander Hernandez. Now, of course, I picked Chase the Gooner to goon all over Alexander Hernandez's face. He did not do that. He actually did the opposite. He didn't goon on Hernandez's face. He gooned on his own. What the fuck am I saying? He absolutely just got KO'd at the end of round 1. I want to say it was like a left hook. I didn't expect this. I really did not expect Alexander Hernandez to be winning fights in 2025 against names like Chase Hooper. And it's not as if Chase Hooper is a really, really, really great wrestler. Sorry, really great fighter, I should say. He's a good wrestler, but a really great fighter. And I do think his dumbass should have not tried to strike for as long as he did. No offense, Chase Hooper, but why were you on the feet for so long? But yeah, Chase Hooper got slept. He just got slept with like a second, really. It says on the clock there, 2 seconds to go at the end of the round, and the ref calls it. A little bit of an early stoppage, by the way. I think this one was an early stoppage, to be honest, because there was another fight on this card. It was the Prates one, right, where he KO'd him with 1 second to go with the spinning elbow. But Jeff Neal was out cold. Chase Hooper was like kind of still with it, you know? So I don't know. I didn't love this stoppage. I do think it was early, but it is what it is. Chase Hooper lost. A little bit of a, I guess it was a bad pick on my end, to be honest. I really believed in Chase Hooper, and it's not like I think Chase Hooper was ever going to be a champion or, beat names like freaking Mauricio Rufy. I don't know. But I thought he was good enough to beat Hernandez because Hernandez has not shown me that he was high level or that he's ever been high level. But then again, Chase Hooper himself isn't high level, so it's kind of like these two non-high level guys. It is what it is. Great win for whatever the kid's name is, Hernandez. I prefer Fluffy over this guy, but shout out to Alexander Hernandez. Great KO, great win. Maybe he's now going to go on that run that he was supposed to go on like 10 years ago. Who knows? Early prelim. So, Edson, Barboza, Drakkar, Klose. I picked Barboza. Shit fight. Not much else to say. This fight was pretty boring. I'm not going to lie. Drakkar, Klose kind of made it boring, and Barboza had a couple of moments, but he's washed. He's washed. And again, I picked him to win. Oh my God, you picked Barboza in 2025. It's Drakkar Klose. Like, come on, what do you expect? But Drakkar Klose, I guess he's all right. So he won by just holding Barboza against the fence. What a tactic. So, yeah, it was what it was. There's not much I got to say here. It's just, it's a shit fight, all right? It's a fucking shit fight. Karine Silva versus Dione Barboza, the sister of Edson Barboza. I went with Karine Silva. She did her thing. She won. WMMA. Shout out to her. I flipped a coin on this one, I think, as well. Call me a casual. And then this fight, I didn't get to predict because I think they added it like last second, but Morales won. I think this was Chael Sonnen's guy, right? And I think the other guy was DC's guy. So, yeah, this guy won. He beat him via round 2 submission. Really impressive. Yeah, I didn't get to predict this one, but I guess I don't know who I would have went with. I probably would have said Morales, right? So I don't know. I can't really prove that, but it is what it is. So that's about it. How did I do on picks? I don't really. None of you guys give a fuck. Let's be honest. Like and sub, comment, share. DDP will win his belt back. Hopefully he wins his belt back, and we don't have to sit through Khamzat Chimaev's shitty title reign. I can't believe there's people that they really would try to gaslight you into like being happy with this result. Hey, I'm okay. Would you guys just prefer me to just be, and when I say you guys, I mean the people that are criticizing me for not glazing this performance. I have my opinions. I'm opinionated. I would rather be opinionated, and I'm pretty sure you guys agree. You'd rather me be opinionated than just be like, wow, that Khamzat Chimaev performance, and just be like a fence sitter who just sides with the winning side. No, I'm going to stick with DDP. I love DDP. I'm sad that DDP lost. Fuck Khamzat Chimaev. See you guys next time. And I'm not Islamophobic. Stop saying that. I'm literally Muslim. No, I'm not. Christ is king. See you guys next time. Peace.